resulting in at least 71 deaths. Russian shelling in Ukraine killed 4 people on Saturday, officials said, as the two nations exchanged drone attacks, one of which ignited a Russian oil depot.
2 people died in Ukraine's partially occupied Kherson region, and 2 were wounded in an attack near the regional capital, according to Governor Alexander Prokudin.
The cost of mailing a letter rose to 73 cents, effective Sunday, after the U.S. Postal Service announced its second price hike this year.
This increase includes the cost of forever stamps.
There is growing national concern about the risk of election deniers convincing local officials to refuse certification of legitimate voting results after a bizarre situation unfolded in Nevada, where a county board commissioner refused to certify her own victory.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Damn good coffee. And hot.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
I do. I make you laugh. Laugh, laugh, laugh. Ha, 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 ha. So much to laugh about, right? All right, you Rush wannabes. Go wannabe Rush somewhere else. That's all I gotta say. Oh, I need more coffee already. Good morning, people of Earth, including United States of America, which is on its last legs. Good morning. It's Monday, July 15th, 2024. How much more of this insanity can we take? I am burnt out. Of course, there is news that is unavoidable. It's the elephant in the room, and everybody's certainly burnt out, as I am, about talking about it. But there are a few points that need to be made. But we are going to meet a guy this morning who was a doctor, medical doctor, who gave that up to become a comedian / dumpling salesman. I shit you not. A comedian / dumpling salesman. Now, all I can imagine by the dumpling salesman thing is that he works the front desk at a Chinese restaurant. That's all I can think of. David Jin is his name. He's a New York City comic. And then in hour 2, we will have Prince George, who represents Warzone Comics, or comic books. Also the host of 2 different podcasts about comic books. So he's also, I believe, going to be in a film coming up about what else? Comic books. So that's what you can expect today. And hopefully we will give you some diversion from all the insanity that's in the news. What's going on in the private chat? People feel like they need to distract me already. You know what? We could talk about that. There's no reason to put that stuff in the private chat and distract me before we get rolling here. See, I'm in a bad mood already. Of course, Donald Trump was hit in the ear with a piece of shattered glass from a teleprompter, not a bullet, on Saturday night. And I was on a gig when it happened, and my phone started ringing, and then texts started coming in from everybody on the planet to let me know about it, as if my opinion or reaction was important in the moment. But clearly, I have nothing really, no insight into it beyond what anybody else does. Everybody thinks they're an expert. Conspiracy theories flowing. I want to address a couple of things here, though, about that. I have lots of friends who are Trumpers, and one of them who called me on the gig, basically 3 seconds after it happened, was already on the right-wing talking points, the Trumper talking points, I should say, more so than right-wing, that the left was responsible for this because they called Hitler, Trump Hitler. They called Hitler Trump. Basically, it's one and the same. Let me just clarify by saying the very first person to compare Hitler to Trump was Donald Trump, as far back as 1990. Then the second person to compare Donald Trump to Hitler was his ex-wife, Ivana, who he threw down the stairs or had thrown down the stairs to kill her. And we'll talk about that. And, you can believe that's true or not. One thing you can't deny is that she wrote in her memoir that Donald Trump was a big fan of Hitler, praised Hitler all the time, kept a copy of Mein Kampf on his bedstand, and read his speeches nightly before going to sleep. Now, Trump at several points denied that, and but he said he had a copy of Mein Kampf. But the guy who gave the book that Trump had on his nightstand was My New Order, which was a book about Hitler. It's not authored by Hitler. And Trump, when he, in his denial of knowing Mein Kampf, said that was the book. He said, first of all, he said he had Mein Kampf on his nightstand, but never read it. It was a gift from a Jew. Well, the guy was not a Jew. Guy came out right after Trump said that and said, "I'm not a Jew. I don't know where he got that from." But he admitted to having Mein Kampf on his nightstand, but he swore he never read it. But then Trump started using verbatim language from Hitler in his speeches. Now, if you're upset with the left or people or Democrats or whatever you want to pose that as, comparing Trump to Hitler, maybe you don't want to use Hitler's playbook. Project 2025 reads like a Hitler manifesto. Trump has used Mein Kampf language in his speeches many times. So you're saying the left comparing Donald Trump to Hitler is the reason for violence. Think again, because as far as long as Donald Trump has been in the political arena, the right has been calling for civil war over and over and over and over again. To be clear, this was a threat, a direct threat. Trump calls for civil war all along, over and over and over and over, calling for civil war. You have a person in Congress. What we need is civil war too. We have the MAGA people with their Civil War shirts on. Back as far back as 2020, we have death, chaos, civil war, furious Trump supporters out for blood after conviction. So don't be shocked when you're threatening half of the population with civil war. You're coming after them. You're the ones who are calling for civil war. And then the first shot happened. Oh, man, they're so violent. Nobody on the left, and you can go, I blocked everybody on Twitter, the top pundits, whether it's Tim Pool, whether it's Joe Benigno, whether it's Ben Shapiro, whether it's Steven Crowder. You can check all their Twitter feeds. For the last 8 years, they've been calling for civil war. Keep in mind, this is in a time when everything has been going their way. Everything has been going their way. They have a rigged Supreme Court, a Supreme Court that is basically overturning all the freedoms that America has worked for 70 years. You know, every law being passed has been in their favor. Everything has gone their way, and they're the ones calling for the Civil War. So don't be surprised when you call for a civil war and the first shots get fired. All right, we can move on. The Secret Service is inept, incapable, and just awful. Now, going back to John F. Kennedy getting assassinated, the Secret Service did not do its job on that day. They did not secure the area. They had him driving around in an open convertible. If we move forward a little bit in timeline, Gerald Ford was shot at 3 times, never secured the area. Ronald Reagan was shot and almost killed. The reason he wasn't killed was the guy was a bad shot. The bullet, or guy wasn't necessarily a bad shot, just unlucky. The bullet just missed his heart. But the Secret Service did not save his life on that day. Donald Trump, the other day, the Secret Service looked pitifully inept. You don't stand a guy up and leave his entire body vulnerable. And they can make the argument, oh, well, they knew the shooter had been shot. They had no idea there was only one shooter at the time. You don't stand a guy up and fist pump. Unless you're looking for a photo op that you can grift and sell more T-shirts and books and NFT cards. And curiously enough, all the Secret Service agents were smiling for the camera. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and don't think it was fake. But let's be honest here. The reason, if it was a real assassination attempt, the reason Donald Trump is alive today is not because the Secret Service, any of them, did their job correctly. It's because the guy was a fucking terrible shot. I could make that shot. Literally, I have made that shot. I have hit a pole that was thinner than this cup from 300 yards away with a single shot rifle, not an AR-15. So the guy was a terrible shot. He hit a teleprompter 10 feet from Trump. He didn't hit his ear. He hit a teleprompter, and there is plenty of footage. You can stop it and look at it, and you can actually see the glass shard in Trump's ear. He did not get hit by a bullet. He got hit by a piece of glass shooting off the teleprompter. That's as close as this shooter got. So for the people who are saying it's a conspiracy that the Dems or Biden ordered it, let's be fucking clear about something. The Supreme Court gave Biden the right to do it without having to do it in secret a couple of weeks ago. If you don't know that, fact check it. He doesn't need to hire an inept kid. And why would he? Trade your life. You're not going to actually kill the guy. We know you really have terrible aim. You've never really demonstrated any proficiency with that rifle. But we're going to go with you, not SEAL Team 6. And we're going to do it covertly, even though we don't have to. Think about the conspiracy theories you're coming up with, people. It's just insane. It's just insane. Now, I'm going to try to move past this today and talk about other things. But honestly, you really have to kind of take a step back and see where we are at today. And this is where I feel like we are at. This is a very dangerous time for the world. Basically, if the world depends on a stable United States of America. And if the United States of America actually devolves into a civil war, the whole world is at risk of instability and all of it. It's a dangerous time to be alive. I am not, let's just put it this way. I am, I'm kind of happy that I won't be alive that much longer. I mean, I've talked about that. I'm old. I'm not. I don't have any terminal diseases that I know of, but I don't get checked regularly. But I would be happy to be dead by the day after election day, especially if Trump wins. But even if Trump loses and Biden somehow gets in, I don't want to be around for this nonsense. We are hopelessly divided, and it has nothing to do with the efforts of the people on the left or people on the right who are not Trumpsters. What we are seeing in America is people who are willing to flush the entire world down the toilet for one rapist, con man, thieving, murdering, lying fool. You're willing to sell out everything and everyone for a man who would do nothing for you. And that's the insanity of this stuff. You talk about, earlier I talked about, I believe he had his ex-wife killed. There is plenty of evidence that she had indicated that she was going to spill the beans on her daughter's abortion because daddy knocked up his daughter. Ivana was going to write a new memoir talking about Trump knocking up his daughter and him getting an abortion, and the ramifications of that with the Mike Johnsons and the people and Marjorie Taylor Greens even and the Boberts necessitated that something be done about Ivana, and something was done about Ivana. She was not unhealthy, just fall down the stairs and end up dead. Jeffrey Epstein, ready to spill the beans on the rape of the 13-year-old girl and the 12-year-old girl who was also beaten, and the two 12-year-old girls who were forced to have lesbian sex in Donald Trump's room at on Epstein Island. There is ample evidence of that, and you can fact check me on all this stuff. You can look it up for yourself. Don't take my word for it. I'm telling you, don't take my word for it. But you won't. You won't fact check it because, God forbid, you do something to find out the truth about the man you're willing to sell out everyone and everything for. Now, with the what they're calling an assassination attempt, I'll just say I am sorry. I wish he would not have even tried, but I'm more sorry that he missed. I am more sorry that he missed. Not that I didn't want him to try, but in cases like this, what you get is a more dangerous Hitler. Hitler was they attempted to assassinate Hitler 3 times. Each time he got angrier and more dangerous. So and there's plenty of, you shoot too high and you miss, you fuck it up for everybody. I wish he wouldn't have shot. I wish the kid would have stayed home. I wish he would have had some fucking sense. But now he's dead. 20-year-old man is dead. One person was shot and killed at the rally. Didn't hear Trump say anything about that guy. No remorse for that guy. No, none whatsoever. Or from anybody on that side. Nobody is saying, "Oh, poor, let's have a moment for him," or the other two people who were critically injured. All about Trump and his little piece of glass in his ear. Anyway, it's just a sick and tired, ugly place that we live in, and I'm ready to leave it. I am now. To be clear, I'm not suicidal and too much of a pussy to kill myself, but I don't want to live anymore. I don't want to live in this fucking state of just fucking insanity. All over one man again. I need to get high. I need to get high daily.
With humble East Coast beginnings in 2015, Daily High Club is the premier destination for glass water pipes, vaporizers, and consumption accessories. If you're looking to elevate your smoking game to the next level, you're in the right place. With over 1 million top-quality smoking products sold, and with a growing base of over 10,000 monthly subscribers worldwide, we deliver the ultimate smoking experience. But Daily High Club is not just a retailer, we're lovers of the smoking scene ourselves, working with giants like Tommy Chong, Snoop Dogg, Chanel West Coast, and more. Ready to join the Daily High Club? Let our experts curate your collection with our awesome El Primo monthly subscription box, or grab one of our fun and unique pieces from our smoke shop. Click the link in the description below this video to get this party started now.
Get this party started now. E.F. Hutton is here. Good morning, E.F. Hutton.
No. Good morning, America.
Is
it? MindDogTV.com. Have you been blocked from social media because you wrote or shared some really good stuff about Saturday's bad event? Send your material to MindDogTV.com. We'll use it. We're not afraid of being ostracized. We don't stick our head in the sand.
Ron.
MindDogTV.com.
Ron.
Enjoy the suffering.
Ron.
He's eating the box.
Yeah, you're showing the wrong side of the box. You're showing the brand side of the box. Show the plain side of the box. We don't need the pig.
Oh, wow. That's a big gaper, man. You should probably get a new box.
Ron's glory hole.
It's recently redone, some wax.
To reflect new developments in girth.
Now, I should say that we are not on Twitter any longer, and we were going to lose a lot of viewers in the live stream for that because we were getting a lot of live viewers from Twitter. The thing is, Sunday morning, right before church, Elon Musk decided that in order to live stream to Twitter now, you must pay $84 a year so that he could put advertising and make more money on your videos. And as a matter of principle, I decided it's worth losing those live viewers. Hopefully we can convince them to go to YouTube, or if they're a far-right knucklehead, they can go to Rumble and they just want to get angry, whatever. But you know what? I'm not going to pay Elon Musk $84 a year so he can give that money to a Trump campaign and then put advertising on our videos so that he can make a few more bucks to give to Trump. Not happening. I ain't doing it. Just as a matter of principle. So fuck it. If I end up losing a little bit because of it, I don't care. I'm ready. Sorry to be a downer today, but it's Monday and a day after an event that people will use for propaganda purposes. One guy was saying, "Oh, what about this is his moment that won him the election?" Because you look at Teddy Roosevelt. I say, "Yeah, look at Teddy Roosevelt." First of all, Teddy Roosevelt finished the speech. He didn't. He got hit with the actual bullet and finished the speech. Mm-hmm. Second of all, he lost that election by a lot. So, being hit with a piece of glass in your ear does not negate all the evil and despicable things that Donald Trump is and does. And I think we can leave it at that. Now,
it does, however, verify what many conspiracy theorists have thought all along, that Trump is in league with the devil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, first thing, after the gig on Saturday night, one of my Trumper friends said, you guys calling him Hitler." I said, "He is fucking Hitler." This kind of proves it, that he's got that Hitler energy. Hitler managed to escape assassination after assassination attempt.
Inside job assassination attempts, not
Right.
just strangers, people who could get close to him.
Well, who knows that this wasn't an inside job? I mean,
I gotta tell
he
you,
didn't get close. He didn't get close to him. He had to do it from 148. It's not like It's not like one of the Secret Service people tried.
That's pretty close. Now, before we go any further, let me just say I talked a little bit too much in the beginning, but our first guest, the dumpling salesman comedian, is not here. He's already late for no show. So,
well, dumplings do have a tendency to make you sit on the toilet a little bit longer.
They do. They do. Yeah.
Now,
his
family
thought
is probably really proud of him, though, giving up his medical career to go.
Oh yeah.
And also, that depends on who paid for the medical career, who paid for the education.
Yeah, we did. You did.
140 grand down the drain just so he could sell dumplings and do comedy.
That guy did.
That's
that guy over there. He paid for it.
I love that. I love that we're in this situation of where someone that's really not liked wants to try and gain publicity out of this, from his followers, of course, and trying to make it all about America. But when most America's like, I love it. I love it.
I gotta tell you, the only part of this whole thing that's made me giggle uncontrollably has been some of the responses from the Trumpers on my friends list. It's bad. I mean, there's people like they're calling him a martyr. They're calling him like Jesus's favorite politician. They're calling him what president did you say? Was it Roosevelt that got shot in the chest?
Teddy Roosevelt?
Yeah. People are calling him Teddy Roosevelt. And even what you said is something I've commented and said. I was like, the dude got shot he got his ear pierced, basically. Teddy got shot in the fucking chest and still did his speech. That's not the same thing, not even close. And then I've lost 2 friends already over this just because I poked fun at it.
No, you didn't. You didn't lose any friends, believe me.
No. Oh, I know. One of them was a comedian, and it really shocked me. But I was like, well, okay.
Let me just comment on that. What we are seeing from the comedians in the world, and I understand that this is your nature. If you are a comedian, this is like a scorpion. It has to sting. A comedian has to make jokes in the moment. But what we are seeing is the reason why so many people who are not really all that talented believe they could be successful comedians is because comedians are showing what hacks they all are with. I mean, out of probably, no exaggeration, 10,000 jokes I've seen made, 2 or 3 of them have been decently written, well-written jokes. The rest of them are complete hacks. And no wonder you have a world full of hack trying to become comedians when they see professionals who are just fucking it up. I mean, really fucking throwing shit at the fan, desperate for a laugh in times of stress and all that kind of stuff.
My stuff didn't even get posted. I posted it and they took it down immediately.
But I mean, what's the difference between that desperation and the desperation of that side to say, oh, this is the Democrats being evil and all this shit? I mean, it's essentially the same thing. Except
I partially believe it was the left because the dude was a terrible shot, so they don't know how to use guns very well.
When I first heard it, I said to my wife it was conservative. I said, although I told us it's a conservative who did it, as a Republican. That was my first thing. My gut reaction. And I said a disgruntled Republican, one who actually still believes in freedom and not Project 2025, but they don't want to be a Democrat. One of those Republicans. That's what as soon as that was like my initial gut feeling. And then my wife says, well, what about your other theory? I said, well, that's not holding up water today. And my other theory is that if somebody shoots and misses, they're a liberal. if they shoot and hit, they're conservative. That's been my go-to theory for like years and years. But
wow, clearly this kid was a terrible shot.
Yeah,
he was only 20 years old. Come on,
hey, dude.
At 13, I was a better shot. Again,
so was I, but I'm just saying.
I hit a pole that was narrower than this from the same distance with one shot.
As a junior in high school, I hit 150 yards, 5 shots in a dime pattern with steel sights. There's no excuse for being that bad of a shot.
Yeah,
I used to shoot clay pigeons.
Now,
see, now that's terrible. I'm calling PETA.
I know,
monster.
But
the conspiracy theories were bound to happen.
Oh, they were instantly. But the Secret Service here, first of all, to let a kid get up on the roof in the first place, I mean, they should have had that. Yeah.
All the buildings in the area scouted very well and known access points and all that stuff. What good is a fucking Secret Service if they can't do that minimal part of the job?
When you see a presidential nominee or anyone that big go into a city, you'll see they have Secret Service on every rooftop. They're checking every building with a floor higher than 2 floors. They're checking everything, and you're telling me that this time around, in broad daylight with no cover, that a dude was able to get up there, get adjusted, get sighted, and take a shot on a presidential nominee, and not one Secret Service guy saw him.
My sources, this is what my sources tell me. Okay. That the day before, the Secret Service did mark that building as a potential target, and they delegated it, according to my sources, they delegated to the local police to secure.
Well, that's inept right there. Even if
I'm just saying, because that's usually
even if that's true, that is ineptness. That is, you don't do that. You don't delegate your job, especially when your job is that serious of a job. I mean, it's one thing if you're a toilet cleaner, but if your job is to protect the life of somebody running for president of the United States.
Well, in theory, the way I understand is that the Secret Service does not have the resources to do all of the things that people think Secret Service are supposed to do. And so when it comes to big areas like that, they work with local law enforcement.
You know what this reminded me of?
Agencies. I'm just saying
this reminded me of the movie Shooter, where they hired the military guy to scout everything out.
The porn version or the
No, not the porn version, the Mark Wahlberg version.
Oh, okay.
And then they blame it on the local police for the guy getting away or getting shot or whatever. And it's a big conspiracy thing. It reminded me a lot of that. Just because it almost like they weren't even trying to hit Trump, they were trying to hit somebody behind him, and he got in the way.
They hit somebody in behind him, but I don't think that guy was the target. That guy.
No. It just was very reminiscent of it, and just the whole thing felt weird from the get go. Honestly, I knew it was going to get played up as Trump being a hero and a martyr and everything else. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I think they're just really upset that it wasn't an immigrant that shot him. Because
then that would have played right into their hands.
Yeah, I know. What about this dangerous hellscape, Trump? It looks like the hellscape is the white guys, as usual.
Yeah.
And don't worry, Trumpers. Nothing will be done about guns. You'll continue to sit on your hands. And then, if it's a shame that he, couldn't have been saved by a good guy with several guns, I guess.
I was going to say, too bad there wasn't a good guy or several good guys around with guns to protect them, just to, prove their point.
And like they always say, nothing stops a bad guy with a gun, but a good teleprompter with a bad speech on it.
Well, on the same token, it's just irritating that no one is even talking about. I mean, it's like you were saying, Matt, it's just so obvious that, talking about years of political violence and now something has happened and you're surprised.
Yeah.
It's like, cry me a fucking river. Man up.
On the news thing, there's on the news channels, they're saying things like the rhetoric on both sides needs to be dialed down. I was like, no. No.
Well, I thought speaking of rhetoric, I was watching I think it was NBC News, and she was talking to former head of the House. What was it Kevin? His last name?
McCarthy.
McCarthy.
Yeah, yeah. And he was talking about how he called Trump just to check on him as a person, not as a politician. Just, he was worried about him as a person, blah, blah, blah. And she kept going, well, did you tell him he needs to probably shut up and quit using the same rhetoric he's been using? He's like, no, I called him as a person. She goes, but did you mention the rhetoric? And he's like, no. And she's like, you probably should have. I was like, oh my God.
All right. Look at this
This
picture.
chick went all in.
Oh my, you're right. I did not realize,
and they're smiling. I love how they're smiling.
All of them are smiling. Now,
Damn.
keep in mind, this is seconds after the shooting. They could have known that the Crooks kid was dead. They could have known that, but they had no idea whether he was the only shooter. And there is never any reason to stand a guy up and leave him exposed like that, and leave them themselves all exposed and be smiling. They knew. These guys had to know they were safe at that moment. Look at the smiles on their faces. There's no concern here.
Well, yeah,
None
I mean,
whatsoever.
with him standing up and stuff like that, it's like, well, thank you for giving someone an opportunity for other shots.
Right.
And
Yeah,
you're
no,
not doing, and you're right, you're not doing that unless you know it's all clear.
Yeah. So this is going to feed a lot of the conspiracy theory stuff because, the fact that these, whether they're just inept, stupid, whatever, there needs to be an investigation into these people right here who are hugging him and smiling for the cameras. You don't see this but in the bigger shot where I snipped this from in the video, there are cameras all along. This guy right there, the guy who's looking straight at you and smiling with the sunglasses, Mr. Showbiz there, he's looking at 5 cameras in front. He's posing for the fucking cameras. That is not Secret Service protocol. So either they felt extremely safe knowing that this was, I hate to feed into the conspiracy stuff, but this is what it is. Either they knew that this was completely safe and it was nothing to worry about, or they're totally inept and stupid as can be.
It's not, Michael, this is a clip. This is a snippet from a video. This was not a edited photo taken off a website somewhere.
I took that off of the Fox News video. That is my screenshot from Fox.
I love the desperation for conspiracy theories, and especially to make Trumpers seem like a man.
What's crazy is if you watch any other assassination attempts on American politicians and you see how the Secret Service acts, there's no smiling and laughing. They jump all over him and he's completely covered till he's in a safe spot. Like watch Reagan's assassination attempt.
Right.
If you watch those, nobody's smiling and laughing. Everybody's jumping all over the president and they're putting him in the car.
Across
watch Lincoln's attempt.
Needs to be first of all brought to a complete investigation. I know we wasted a lot of money on investigations. These 5 people in the front part of the team need to be fired immediately, because you don't stand the guy up.
Yeah.
And in any circumstance like that, you don't stand them up. You throw them in the car. You keep your body in front of them. Anybody.
So, Michael, just so you know, we're not making fun of Trump. We're saying that his Secret Service detail was shitty and did a bad job. So we're talking good.
Mike Binder used the occasion to say, well, RFK needs Secret Service protection immediately. And I said, and this is not nothing new. You guys heard me say this before, Mr. Broken Record here. But I said to Mike, I would feel safer with you running security than that. And again, if I detailed, the Secret Service has a track record of sucking at their job. They let Kennedy get killed. They let Robert F. Kennedy get killed. They let Gerald Ford get shot at 3 times. Reagan only survived because the bullet missed his vital organs, but he didn't survive because they were doing their job.
And George Wallace, I don't know if he had security detail or not, though, because he was a candidate at the time, right? George Wallace back in 80, was it? 80? When he was a candidate, he got shot?
Yeah. I don't know if he had Secret Service detail. I don't know that. but he was not expected to win the Democratic primary. He was a Dixiecrat, right? And it was dividing the Democratic Party at the time. But I don't know if he had Secret Service detail. But again, that would be just one more instance where the Secret Service has failed at their job. Even if you go back to Garfield was allowed to go.
Leave the cat out of this, okay? He has a love for lasagna, and
he was allowed to go to walk in the post office without any Secret Service protection whatsoever, and got shot while in the post office.
Look at Archduke Franz Ferdinand. His Secret Service was slacking too, and he got hit real hard. So,
yeah,
and lessons to learn all throughout history.
And my favorite thing about the staged conspiracy, like it was staged, it sort of makes sense too, because Trump isn't committed enough to maim himself to get further in office, but you're like, oh, I'll take a little piece to the ear.
Yeah,
there's no way you could plan on the glass fucking hitting him in the ear.
No, but I'm saying
the lady comic I was.
One at a time.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, if you need sympathy, you have to be maimed, and getting cut on the ear is, well.
Yeah.
I feel like if it was going to be faked, like they could have used better. They could have done the squib shots and the under the shirt and everything. They could have made it look like he got shot in the chest or stomach or something. If they were going to fake it, they could have done a better job.
Yeah, I don't think it was. I don't think it was staged, but I just think it was a guy that was a terrible shooter, and probably lacks Secret Service. But then on the same token, it's like, how do you really feel bad for somebody that's been just spouting shit for years? Right. And it's like the biggest question I have is why hasn't this happened sooner? You figured this would happen years ago.
That's what I was just about to say. I thought this would have happened a lot sooner.
My theory is that Trump hired a sharpshooter to miss him, but the amount of money, once the sharpshooter realized he was not going to get paid, he gave the job to his nephew, who was not such a good shot, and his nephew did it. And the sharpshooter says, "Look, I'm not going to get paid for this, and I could get hurt. But my nephew, here's my old rifle with the bent nozzle, with the bent muzzle. Use that."
Quit birthing new conspiracy theories. You're going to give people a whole lot more to use, man. Come on.
Well, the latest thing, it turns out that Thomas Matthew Crooks, when he was 15 years old, was in a classroom that was used for a BlackRock commercial. And the conspiracy theorists are going wild, saying, see, this is proof that he was tied into the deep state. First of all, he didn't have any lines. He happened to be in the classroom. He doesn't say anything. The camera's spans the classroom for all of about 5 seconds, and you can see he's in one row there. That's about it. Now that proves that he's part of the deep state, because what are the chances of him ending up in a BlackRock commercial when he was 15 years old? Yeah, they recruited him starting before Trump was even in politics. That's
did you guys see what was trending on Twitter also after this assassination attempt? There's one or two psychics out there who, I guess, publicly on video made a prediction about an assassination attempt on Trump.
My wife,
it's going crazy right
30
now.
minutes before the attack said we were at a birthday party. I left the birthday party to go do my gig. My wife was at this party, and she said, "I'm surprised there hasn't been an assassination attempt on Trump." But there actually was in 2016, if you recall that. But coming back one more time, just to the rhetoric, Donald Trump asked his crowd at a rally, and you can fact check me on this. Again, don't take anything I'm saying for my word for it. Just go fact check. Donald Trump said about Hillary, we can't let her get a Supreme Court pick, because at the time the Gorsuch seat was still. This is the one they passed on Merrick Garland for. That was still up for grabs. And Trump, while he was running, said, perhaps the Second Amendment thing, people can make sure that Hillary doesn't get a chance to have that that Supreme Court. So he was calling for Hillary Clinton's assassination at his rally in 2016. Look it up. You can find all.
There's a there's another where people have been blaming Biden for this happening as well with a tweet that Joe Biden sent out, where he basically said that we should put a bullseye on Trump for his actions or whatever. And now a lot of some folks on the right are now blaming Biden for this happening also.
Let's just be clear about this. The Supreme Court told Joe Biden 2 weeks ago that he has carte blanche to take out Donald Trump. And a guy, you know what? Saturday night after the thing, I was talking to my friend who's a Trumper, and he said, "Well, if Trump gets elected again, he can just pardon himself." I said, "Dude, this is proof that you don't pay attention to anything, because Donald Trump asked for carte blanche immunity to do whatever he wants." If he gets elected again, and the Supreme Court gave it to him. Oh, I don't know what to believe. That's just your opinion. No, that's not my opinion, dude. It's a Supreme Court decision, and if you don't have the fucking wherewithal to check on a Supreme Court decision without taking my word for it, you are a useless fucking talking fucking head. Shut the fuck up until you know what you're talking about. Go look it up right here, right now. Go look it up. And in that moment, that very same day, Joe Biden said I dissent. I refuse to take that authority, but he has the authority now, thanks to this Donald Trump asking the Supreme Court for that authority to kill Trump if he wanted to, without doing it covertly. He could just come out and say, "This guy's a danger to America. I'm going to have him killed," and the Supreme Court sanctioned it. He doesn't need to do it behind the scenes. Use a fucking kid who can't shoot. He got the best shooter in the fucking world to take him out.
Yeah, SEAL Team 3.
SEAL 8. SEAL Team 8.
I didn't know we were going that high. I thought the new guys in the first 3 could handle it. But
No. Something like that, you need the top secret, the really secret ones, the ones who will not blab. So secret, just like the NSA used to be. The NSA used to be so secret that people didn't even know we had an NSA. I had a friend's father. My friend's father worked for the NSA, and his family didn't even know he worked for the NSA until one day his car broke down and he needed a ride to work. And we, on the way to school, dropped him off at the NSA. And at that point, the rule was the NSA stood for no such agency. So we all knew about what NSA stood for, no such agency, but we had no idea that that's where he actually worked.
Like I said, my favorite thing about all this is people wanting compassion and being up in arms and like, I can't believe you would say this, and that I find that very enjoyable, and the enjoyable aspect of trying to unite the country behind a person that people still don't give a shit about, and they know that he's a horrible person, and it's that makes me laugh.
I don't have any favorite part of this. I think, and this sounds like it's just like over the top, but I think the Civil War has started with that shot. It's not like a raging civil war, but I think that's the first shot of where we're headed. The election at this point doesn't matter who wins. That idea of us coming together, uniting as one country and getting back to some sense of normalcy is out the window. I don't care if Biden could win and still he is I don't think there's a human being alive that is capable of uniting this country and getting us back to some sense of normalcy.
But I mean, Trump hasn't really done anything. Yeah, I mean, to his base, they're very excited, but still, once you get outside the base, it's like
again, like I said in the beginning, everything they've gotten everything their way. They were able to overturn Roe v. Wade. They're able to get Bibles in the fucking classrooms. They're able to get all they want. Biden is. He's still building the fucking wall. He's fucking deporting immigrants. Everything is going their way, and they're threatening civil war day in and day out because fucking liberal. Like basically, they refuse to live in a country that people are allowed to have different of opinion. And Trump said this basically just last week that we are going to have a second revolution. It will be bloodless if the left lets it happen. In other words, lay down and submit to everything that Trumpism wants, or else there'll be blood. That's what he said.
That's where my fear comes from. Is I have this fear of both. If Trump wins, we see the ushering in of this Project 25. We see this theocratical Christian based white Republican nationalism happening. But I also fear what happens if he loses, because I feel like because we saw what happened January 6th. Now imagine that on a grander scale. That could be a really serious problem. I mean, look what happened when Black Lives Matter decided to riot. They destroyed cities. Now imagine you get 3 times that many pissed off white rednecks.
Well, let's be clear.
Chaos.
Yeah, let's be clear though. A lot of those white rednecks are afraid to go into cities because they're afraid.
Not when you get them in numbers.
Enough of them
listen,
went
man.
into Washington D.C. to the Capitol on January 20th. That negates that idea completely. I know more, and there were more people there. I know people who were smart enough to leave before it got violent, but they were there.
But when you know, like I grew up in Southern Alabama with these kind of people, and when individually, they're scared of black people. They don't want to get near them. But when you get them in large numbers, it's scary because they're unstoppable. They will not stop.
And
it's bad.
Well, any large groups of people, no matter who they are scary because mobs.
But when
can
you
happen
combine
in any type of crowd.
But this is not, again. Let's be clear. This is not about issues or principles or any of those things. This is about devotion to one man. Kid Rock. You fuck with Trump, you fuck with me, man. Well, you know what? I'm really fucking scared of Kid Rock.
And there's another aspect of this that. Sorry, there's another aspect that's not talked about a lot, and it's that there's also toxic patriotism that's going to play a part in this too. It's my country. I want it the way it was, and that's going to feed into that group mentality. And it's going to be nasty.
They call it patriotism. It's not patriotism.
No.
It's devotion to one man, a cult leader. It's devotion to the person, not the issues. And they ask them to define patriotism. They can't do it.
We're still like just a couple of days from the incident. So, all this is still fresh and people are very excited. Then as it drags on, I mean, they're going to use it like this conservative guy tried to kill our conservative, our conservative God. So I don't know. I mean, it's a rallying point for them, but at the same time, I just feel there's no other excitement around it.
What do you mean, no other excitement around it?
Well, he got shot, but I think most of the country is like, and we're surprised by this. How? And
I think you're saying he got shot at because the jury is still out. There's the glass theory.
Whatever. I mean, however he wants to milk it, so he can sell his T-shirts and with the smiling Secret Service on it.
Based on the emails that have been sent out since he's been quote unquote.
He started grifting
assassinated
before he was even to the hospital.
Yeah, it was. There's been 3 or 4 emails about there's been an attempt made on my life. Be a supporter now. I'm a survivor. We're gonna survive this revolution. So support now. It's just like, dude, you're not even at the hospital yet. Chill out,
and if you're on the other side, this should really be a rallying point for you to finally
take a shot at Biden.
Yeah, get Biden out of there and be we need someone younger. And I'm sure there's going to be copycats. I'm sure they're good.
Well, and that's the other part of this is, well, if GD is making excuses for the Secret Service, they don't have the resources.
I'm not saying. No, I do not say I'm not making excuses for them. I said that was one of the things that was reported. I'm just reporting. I'm not making an excuse. Okay, that is not my theory. That was what was reported as a possibility. As a matter of fact, it was reported as fact. It was reported as fact. I'm not making an excuse. I was reporting. So please do not say I was making an excuse.
No,
I was reporting what I heard on the
that's
news.
fine if we made that disclaimer 20 minutes after you came out.
No, I as a joke, I said my sources say, but I don't have any sources. I watch the news.
First of all, if that has any validity whatsoever, all that does is encourage more of this. But I don't think that's true. I think they have enough research. You don't permit a rally if you don't have the resources to cover it. You just don't let it happen. Now, the kid was seen by a local cop. This was the reporting from Ron's neck of the woods, a local Pennsylvania station this morning, that a local cop claims that he confronted the kid on the roof and said, "What are you doing up there?" The kid pointed the gun at the officer. The officer started to back down the ladder, and that's when the kid turned and started shooting. But still, the fact that the Secret Service even allowed that. First of all, the snipers weren't. There's footage of the snipers looking at that roof, having guns pointed at that roof. I mean, did they not see him get up there in the first place? Did they not see him lay down and pick a opportunity to get set and all that? They had to have seen him.
You'd figure once they saw the gun, they would have started shooting at him.
Yeah.
They would have been within their rights to do so. Like it's mind blowing.
We should really just start taking bets on now who's going to be fired or who's going to resign, because there's going to be a couple people that get fired or resign, blah blah blah, new procedures, blah blah blah, and
that whole team needs to be fired immediately.
Yeah,
100%.
And smiling for photo ops when
well, you know, all this shit would have been pointed out and been talked about if this would have been happening to Biden, though. They would have been like, "Oh my God, Secret Service was terrible," and they would have gone down that rabbit hole so quick.
Yeah, and then crying about compassion for their elderly leader when Paul Pelosi was attacked, and they're coming out and saying
Gretchen Whitmer and you know all these attacks. You know, January 6th was fucking January 20th.
For the record, for any of the Trump people listening who think he's a martyr and he's, you know, this great leader, he was golfing the next fucking day. Okay, he was not seriously injured. He was golfing the next day, and then making jokes about how the shooter was a terrible shot. Okay,
yeah, and
the dude's fine. Calm down.
A decent person would have immediately tried to comfort the family of the guy whose life ended up coming to an end at your rally. This guy was there to support me.
Well, he did put a post on Truth Social. Well, I don't know if he wrote it, but they did say our heart goes out to the family of the guy who got killed. I didn't even think they mentioned him by name. I'm not sure that Trump wrote it. It was on Truth Social.
Yeah.
Well, they're
instead he went off to play golf instead of, you know, going to visit the family. Fuck that guy.
But he invited the family to the golf course.
Will they invite? They're going to invite the family to the convention. I bet. They'll probably try rolling that family out. Hey, you remember your dad who was alive like last week? Yeah, a few days ago.
He gave his life for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you should support me and be on TV for me and let me use you.
All right. The AI News, the Alan Edwards AI, has been delivering updates every like 15 minutes now on the shooting, which wasn't a shooting. I mean, it wasn't a shooting of Trump anyway. It was a shooting of those 3 people who were not Trump. But I'm not going to play that. But we do have other news to listen to.
Can I just say one thing real quick before you hit that button?
Sure, I'd say one thing really quick.
Okay, one thing. No, I think that with the investigation of the Secret Service, that Mike Johnson is going to want to impeach Mayorkas again, since Secret Service comes underneath of Mayorkas' responsibilities. I think they're going to go for another impeachment hearing.
So
that's all. I just want to put that out there because we're talking about Secret Service investigations.
There is growing national concern about the risk of
Hey,
election
hey,
deniers
hey.
convincing local officials to refuse certification of legitimate voting results after a bizarre situation unfolded in Nevada, where a county board commissioner refused to certify her own victory.
Washoe County Board Commissioner Clara Andriola won her primary in June by nearly 19 points. Yet at last, Tuesday's commission meeting, Andriola joined two other Republican commissioners in deciding not to certify the results of her own election. David Lang reporting.
The cost of mailing a letter rose to 73 cents, effective Sunday, after the U.S. Postal Service announced its second price hike this year.
This increase includes the cost of forever stamps, which the Postal Service offers at a fixed rate for mailing letters and other items. The previous price of 68 cents for a first-class postage stamp and forever stamps reflected a 5-cent increase on July 9, 2023, following a 3-cent hike on January 22, 2023. Jessica Oakley reporting.
Russian shelling in Ukraine killed 4 people on Saturday, officials said, as the two nations exchanged drone attacks, one of which ignited a Russian oil depot.
2 people died in Ukraine's partially occupied Kherson region, and 2 were wounded in an attack near the regional capital, according to Governor Alexander Prokudin. 2 other people died on Saturday afternoon, and 22 were wounded in Ukraine's northeastern Kharkiv region, as stated by Governor Ole Sinyahubov. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
Israel reported that it targeted Hamas's elusive military commander in a large-scale strike on Saturday in the densely populated southern Gaza Strip, resulting in at least 71 deaths.
The Gaza Health Ministry reported that at least 289 others were injured in the attack, one of the war's deadliest, and that many casualties were taken to the overwhelmed Nasser hospital nearby. There, Associated Press journalists counted over 40 bodies. Witnesses described multiple strikes in the attack. Benjamin Wright reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
5 people managed to escape from a hot, acidic pond in Yellowstone National Park after their sport utility vehicle veered off the road and into an inactive geyser, park officials reported.
The passengers were able to exit the 105-degree Fahrenheit water on their own following the crash last Thursday morning and were hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries, park spokesperson Morgan Worthen said in a statement. The road was closed for about 2 hours on Friday while the SUV was extracted, Jim Kender reporting.
A missing Utah teen and her 2 cousins have been found safe nearly 2 weeks after they disappeared in Mexico, the FBI stated.
Elizabeth Gonzalez, 14, and her cousins, Sofia Malin Moreno Zamora, 6, and Regina Moreno Zamora, 4, vanished on June 30th while Gonzalez was visiting family in Mexico City, authorities said. Mexican authorities located the 3 girls in Veracruz, Mexico, shortly after the FBI identified 31-year-old Antonio Moreno, the biological father. Paul Gomez reporting.
A man has been charged with first-degree murder in connection with the July 4th stabbing death of a 13-year-old girl, the Orange County Sheriff's Office in Florida announced.
The victim, Rose Dujuste, was heading to a friend's house in her complex when she was attacked, officials said. During a press conference, Orange County Sheriff John Mina said the suspect, 28-year-old Jerry Durisme, is facing first-degree felony murder charges. Lawrence Keller reporting.
Dr. Ruth Westheimer, the renowned sex therapist, author, and talk show host, has passed away, her publicist announced. She was 96.
For decades, the witty and diminutive Westheimer, popularly known as Dr. Ruth, was one of America's most trusted and beloved voices on sex. The German-American therapist was born Carola Ruth Siegel in the village of Weisenfeld in 1928. The only child of Orthodox Jewish parents, she was sent away by her family to escape the Nazis. She later learned her parents perished in the Holocaust. Liam White reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Before we go on, Mike Shavola is asking me to go do fucking homework for him. I will, you know what? I will find that. I'm not doing it now because it's work. It's serious work. It's, oh, please fucking do this for me. First of all, you need a video editor that can go by frame and pick that out. And second of all, I don't have the clip available. I have to go back on YouTube, look through my history of about 5,000 videos. But I will do that just for you. And tomorrow I will find, or tomorrow or Wednesday, as time allows, I will do your fucking homework for you.
Yeah,
okay?
Mike, we like your desperation. And if you're going to do that, please wear your lingerie while you do it.
Yeah, really. I mean, seriously. It's silly. Oh, I watched it. You're watching it go by. You're not gonna. You have to actually go frame by frame and look at it. When you see the cameras come up, when you see 5 people in the front row bring their cameras up like this and point it at the Secret Service guy, and then he starts smiling, and you see the other people with that could be smiles, could be grimaces, but that guy's clearly smiling at the cameras. And you again, bottom line here is that it was absolutely posed for a photo op. You don't hold a guy up doing this after you think he's been shot and you know there could be an active shooter, even though that one active shooter, you might know that he's been killed. You don't fucking, hey, yeah, let him do that. That you're out of your fucking mind if you think that that's the case.
Yep, and I think we might need to update Ron and Mike's pay-per-view match and turn it into a bras and panties match.
So fucking
90s WWE style.
I'm just so fucking sick. I'm out of fucking patience with all of these fucking idiots. Yeah, you know, oh, you guys should have compared him to Hitler. You know what? His wife. His wife called him Hitler.
I just want to know how much it hurts that it wasn't an immigrant and that it was just another sad white guy.
Donald Trump's classified documents case was dismissed by U.S. judge.
He said, I agree with, let me read this.
What happened now?
He said, I agree with, let me read this, please.
Yep.
I agree with everything you're saying. It's just hard for me to believe that 3 people are smiling. I'm not disagreeing with you. And yes, I went through it frame by frame and can't find it. You don't do my homework. Fuck you, don't do my homework. Okay, now.
Sorry, BBC just posted this breaking news. Donald Trump's classified documents case was just dismissed by U.S. judge.
Classified documents case.
That'd be Alien Cannon.
That's that's Cannon thing. Yeah. Not surprising. Not surprising at all. You know, we'll see where that goes. She is probably going to be under judicial review herself, but you know what? I'm not even a little surprised by that, especially in light of the Supreme Court's ruling. But again, you know what? Fucking people who I don't know, like they question things you say about facts that are verifiable facts as opinion. It's not my opinion that the Supreme Court issued blanket immunity to Donald Trump. Donald Trump asked for that for 6 months, and then the Supreme Court granted it to him. You can read the decision. It's a 6-3 decision. You can read it for yourself. It's not a fucking opinion. There's a difference between opinion and objective facts, and I think we've lost that. Again, this
Clarence Thomas is a dick.
What was that about Clarence Thomas? He's a dick.
Okay, Eileen Cannon says she dismissed the case, saying that Jack Smith's appointment was against the Constitution. It was not constitutional. The thing is, Clarence Thomas, in an aside, not a decision, but in a comment he made a comment in the decision. It's not part of the decision. It was just in a comment. He's the only one to make it, questioning the legitimacy of Jack Smith's appointment. Okay, and she's basically citing an opinion that's not even it's fuck. That's
inconsequential. It's really not. It's meaningless. It's totally meaningless in the big picture of things. Now, what most people probably you know, you've heard this stuff about the classified document stuff. Let's be clear here about what the documents case is really about. In 2017, in May of 2017, Donald Trump had a meeting with Vladimir Putin. 3 days later, he asked for a complete list of all intelligence agencies, agents working in the Russian, Chinese, Euro-Asian segment of the CIA, NSA, all that kind of stuff. Within 2 months, Vladimir Putin had them all killed, all 46 people on the list. That list of 46 people was in the desk drawer of Donald Trump in the top secret folder. In other words, he gave Putin information about the top agents to have them assassinated. That's what the big picture of the classified documents are. And so if you're going to, and you can fact check this again, don't take my fucking word for it. If you're going to make a comparison between any kind of classified documents and any of that kind of stuff, the biggest smoking gun is Donald Trump selling out the lives of 46 American agents to Vladimir Putin, all killed. He asked for it. He was delivered it. And so you want to stick with, that guy. You can stick with, this fucking game playing nonsense of I'm team blue, team red, whatever. Hey, Joe Biden. The fact is we have a Hitler wannabe, a Hitler prototype, the guy who studied Hitler, a guy who doesn't give a fuck about anybody but himself, and then has the gall to call for civil war over and over again, and have his people call for civil war over and over and over again. And then when he gets shot, gee, the left is so fucking violent. And it wasn't even a guy on the left.
No, I'm pretty sure everyone's reporting that he was a Republican.
Yeah.
Well, then they first claim that, but he gave to Vote Blue or whatever organization was. Guy by the same name who was 69 years old made that donation. The different Thomas Crooks altogether.
Grasping at straws.
He must have been a lefty. Look, he 7 years ago he gave $16 to a liberal fucking PAC.
Even if he had, that was in the past. Back when McCain was running against Bush as for the Republican nomination, and that year I donated to McCain's campaign and also donated to one of the Democrats, Dennis Kucinich, because I was trying to pick the two people one from each party that I thought was best represented, what I thought was the best choices, in my opinion. But that was back then.
You see, I've done the same thing. I've donated to both sides because I vote issues. I don't vote party. So if you look at what I've donated to in the past, it's all over the place because it's about the person who represented me and my views, not the person who had the right color, And
that was back, like I said, when McCain was running against George Bush. Once Bush got the nomination, actually Bush didn't have the nomination yet, but they just had a primary. They were having a primary in the South. I think it was like in Georgia, and Bush his people did a push, what's called a push poll, where the question was something like, would you be more likely or less likely to vote for John McCain if you knew he had an illegitimate black child? That was the question that they put on there. Now, McCain does not have an illegitimate black child. He had an adopted child who was black. They'd adopted a young black girl, okay? McCain did not defend his daughter. And at that point, I was never on the McCain wagon again. Never. If he can't defend his own family, he cannot defend the country, period. And so, but anyone looking into my past said, well, look, G.D. Fenderson must be a conservative because he gave money to McCain. It's like, yeah, up until he turned his back on his family, then fuck McCain. That's how I felt. The past is the past. We all do things in the past.
I was a fan of Dick Cheney until he offered to take me hunting.
I didn't even know McCain had an adopted daughter.
Me neither, honestly.
That slipped by me. But
typical. He ignores the black child.
Yeah. No, I don't. I'm looking it up right now. I don't see anything about her race at all. Oh, there she is. There's a picture of her. Yeah. Wow. I was going to say something extremely racist.
Wow, she's black.
No, not that. She looks like. I'm going to say what I was going to say, which is extremely racist. She looks like the cover of an Aunt Jemima box.
Oh my God.
She does. I mean, there's no two ways about it. She looks like the cover of the. She looks like Aunt Jemima. I'm not.
Will you
kidding.
do my homework for me and share the picture so I can see it?
Well, it's on a different computer. Well, yeah.
That's
You're gonna make me fucking do this. You know
No,
what? You
he's
can
not
suck
making
my
you do it.
fucking
He's
cock.
not making you do it. You can choose not to do it and
Yeah,
say,
you don't
do it
have
your
to
own
do it.
fucking
I was
self.
just.
No, I don't believe it, man. I gotta see if I'm fucking so.
I was just poking the bear. Was all I was doing.
How do you think I feel? I
You
report
were
the story.
sucking my fucking cock, is what you were
Oh
doing.
my god!
Now I am used to being fact. Matter of fact, I don't mind if people fact check me because
People fact check me all the time, and that
People
makes
can
me
fact
sad.
check it. You can just fucking look up Bridget McCain.
I'm
Oh,
your
I can do
teacher,
that.
and I find you attractive.
Christ, did a cow shit in here?
That's not the
Probably.
same one. No, it's got to be this one picture where she looks like that. I actually have to share this picture because
you
she
don't
doesn't
think they
look
make
like
her dress like
in
that all the
other
time
pictures.
now, do you, man?
I found pictures of her. We're good. You don't got to share
If you're
it.
going to go out in public, Bridget, you have to dress like this.
Yeah, his hands were soft and supple.
Well, I think Prince George is going to be another no-show here. I just have that feeling. It's like he's
way
no
to go to let
late.
way to let the royal family down. Come on.
Yeah, jeez.
Is this it? Yeah. This is the picture I was talking about. Tell me that doesn't look like fucking Aunt Jemima on the cover of the box.
I know the pictures that pulled up when I Googled her. I was like, oh, yep, he's right.
No, but the other pictures, she doesn't look like that. There are pictures where she's dressed in like elegant evening wear and all that kind of stuff. And there's pictures of her as a little kid. None of those look like Aunt Jemima. The one where she's sitting there with the red hair.
I was really hoping Prince George was going to show up. I was going to show him my Prince Albert.
All right.
No, that wasn't going to happen.
Jackie is texting me. Jackie is texting me fucking jokes, which I appreciate, and non-political jokes. So I appreciate that because I am really fucking ready. I'm fucking ready, man. I'm ready to fucking I don't have the balls or the intent to really kill myself ever. But if somebody wants to take a shot at me, please.
Speaking of suicide, next week or this week, I guess, in Sweden, Amsterdam, one of those two, one of their first suicide pods is going to be used by a lady.
Suicide pods. Now, how does that work?
It's like a Tide pod, only bigger.
It's a euthanasia pod. So you climb into it. After going through you have to go through a psychological exam to make sure you're of sound mind, and then you sign the paperwork.
We want to make sure you're not crazy before we kill you, because God forbid we lose a fucking crazy person.
Well, yeah, and then I guess you schedule it, then you climb in the pod, it euthanizes you, and then it keeps you there and then they come pick you up.
Well, don't worry if you're feeling a bit dismayed. Thursday night, Trump will unite the country.
I don't think he speaks until the last night of the convention.
Yeah, Thursday night.
Thursday night's not the last night, is it?
I think so. It's only 4 days, and starting.
Yeah, it's Monday through Thursday.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to be watching the convention?
I'm going to be on stage. I'm sorry, I won't have time.
I got nothing this week, so my next show got canceled. So.
Ron's got Mr. Tongue's bucket list tonight, so he's going to be too busy with doing that.
All right, I'm
going to eventually have to make a trip out towards you guys.
Tomorrow night
make
he's
a
got
visit.
the doghouse. He's going to be too busy for that. Wow. And Wednesday night he's going to be helping me prepare for my Thursday night show, so he's going to be too busy, then.
Wow, he just knows your whole schedule, Rod.
Except for Wednesday night, Ron goes, no.
Why is this a thing?
Because it's phallic. That's why.
No, I hate it here, Grandpa. I hate it here.
You need something to do at the RNC convention.
Let's take it one step at a time. Doctors, people who went to medical school are warning people not to put frozen hot dogs in their anus. They are not saying don't put fresh hot dogs in your anus. And somebody, I don't know how many doctors, it says doctors, it's not just one doctor, there are a group of doctors apparently who have decided to take on this issue because apparently it's either a fad or a trend or
epidemic.
Yeah, an epidemic. It could be an epidemic. I don't know.
It's definitely not an epidermal.
I hate how serious this is being taken right now. It's killing me.
I just want to know, and
You're
this
so
is not
calm
a
about it that it's
poll.
upsetting. You're just,
Obviously, we don't have a lot of listeners or viewers right now who could
actually, it's on my end. It shows a number that's fairly similar to what we normally have.
Anyway,
but you've had that number tattooed on your end for a long time, so it's not going to change.
I was trying to get to the idea that a scientific poll is not going to be, legitimate here. But if anybody, whether you're listening live or as on demand after, write to me if you've known anybody, if you've ever done this, ever stuck a frozen hot dog in your anus, or know anybody who has. Please let me know, because I think if I ask the three guys in the room, they will deny it. I have a feeling GD probably has.
No, I probably know someone who has done it. They just haven't told me.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
Is his name Reverend Dr. Jelly Roll? Yes. Okay. Let's move on.
So a scientific poll is not legitimate here, but meat polls are. So write to us quickly.
No, the Reverend would not do something like that because, first of all,
I don't believe that for a second.
He doesn't eat meat. He doesn't eat meat.
No, he fucks it. It's completely different.
I'm not sure that counts as eating in any way you
reverse
can imagine.
eating at best.
Well, putting it in your body is ingesting it, isn't it?
The consequences here. Now, this is where it really confuses me. What's the worst that could happen?
Maybe freezer burn.
Maybe it's frozen and it cuts your anus while it's going in and out.
Well, considering it's who knows what's in hot dogs, it's just scraps. So why would you put that in your ass?
Get it all beef hot dogs then.
It's a it's a collection of leavings.
So what you're saying is, if I hear you correctly, that a hot dog is more toxic than Willie's tongue.
Probably.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think the outside of a hot dog is probably, I mean, they're a beef casing. Yeah. And so I would like to think that at least the outside of the hot dog is clean before they, tie it off and make it into a hot dog. And most hot dogs are actually cooked, right? Most hot dogs are pre-cooked.
Yeah, they're pre-cooked at least, so that most
like
of the bacteria is dead.
Yeah.
It's not like a fresh, wet tongue.
So maybe maybe it's a case of freezer burn. Maybe it's a case of
ice can cut you. The ice shards.
Maybe it's not the hot dog. Maybe it's the buns and the ketchup that they put in afterwards. The condiments. It's the condiments.
Could be a coincidence of the timing of this, but David Ginn just wrote to me and said, "This is fucking weird. Hi, I'm so sorry. I fell sick to food poisoning overnight and didn't make it to this."
My hot dog was toxic.
It was a chili dog. It slipped in real easy, but it didn't come out. I'm sick.
Well, there is a lot of salt and high fat in those, so maybe that's why too.
It could have been the cooking method as well. Maybe it was boiled instead of grilled or microwaved.
Doctors are also warning, if you do actually stick a frozen hot dog up your ass, don't eat it afterwards. I mean,
fuck. I wish I would have known that. I mean, I've never tried
David
it.
would
That's
have been
gross.
better off knowing that. Maybe I should have.
We should just put warning labels on everything, not for ass.
Do not ingest, only mouth ingestion only, please.
Ian's right. That food poisoning excuse has been used more than a dozen times on this program. Not just this program, but my evening program too.
Let's be fair. He might have been eating pussy all weekend, and now his mouth is really sore, and he's got a sore throat. And
I think food poisoning is probably a very poor way of phrasing that. I don't think people are actually poisoning your food like a Russian Tsar or something, or what happened to McKinley.
But if she squirts lots of times, I'm sure your throat's going to be sore after that, after a long weekend.
Let's just say you were eating food that it was past its expiration date or was not good, but it's not food poisoning.
Well, that's why I don't trust people that say food poisoning. Tell me if you tell me, hey, sorry man, I ate something bad. Great, I believe that. But when you tell me you got food poisoning, nah, you just overslept. Calm down.
Unless you live in Russia, because let's face it, Putin's favorite, which is a womanly way to kill people, by the way. Men generally are not the poisoners. It's a woman's method of killing somebody, but it's Putin's favorite way to kill people. Also,
Because Putin's a bitch.
He did graduate to windows and hotel rooms, that kind of stuff.
Sure, assassinations too. Sometimes he just has them shot, like the guy that he had shot near the Kremlin.
Maybe Putin hired the shooter and he thought he would just reach out to a normal Trump guy, and that's why he was a terrible shot, because he just found some idiot.
They're like typical Americans. You can't finish the job. That's probably what Putin's thinking. Yeah. From Afghanistan, assassinations. These guys just can't do anything. From Vietnam, we can't finish that. I mean,
never send a Russian to do a redneck's job. Or never send a redneck to do a Russian job. That's what I meant to say. Well, I guess a Russian would be good as most rednecks jobs, probably.
Now,
this is not a black job he's taking.
Now, GD, could you check on this about the Judge could she dismiss that with prejudice, or is jeopardy attached to that, or not?
I don't think jeopardy has been attached to it yet, because I think she can dismiss it, but I think it's reviewable. I think. Let me find out.
Are we talking about the classified documents case?
Yeah, already liberal Twitter is fucking losing their mind over this stuff. Now, everybody who was like a political pundit on either side, I went out of my way to kind of block them or put them to sleep on my Twitter, but they're still coming through in other people's posts. Comedians are sharing this stuff. I can't block every fucking comedian. I'm overwhelmed by it, and I need a fucking break from all the politics and nonsense of it. But So, yesterday I had a gig at Daisy's Nashville, and I think most of the crowd, listen, it's a country music crowd. I think you can guess the political leanings of the crowd, but even they would people were head down in their drink. They were applauding after every song, but nobody looked up. They were all looking down at their drink, sitting at the bar like sulking. There wasn't a lot of people until the last half hour. My brother brought a bunch of his friends down there, and my nephew was there. But it was a really very weird energy day where just people were just like not even paying attention to sports that were on the TVs and all that kind of stuff. I ended up getting no lie, $2 in tips.
That's rough,
thing.
Man. That is rough.
Yeah,
I got $40 in tips from my show.
Wow. Was it a Sunday afternoon show?
No. Oh no, it was Friday or Saturday night.
Yeah, not a comparison. Not a comparison. On my Saturday night, then we got like 300 each.
Okay, show off. You also have 74 years of experience under your belt. I mean,
I'm just saying, there's no comparison between a Saturday night and a Sunday.
No, not even
afternoon.
close. You're right. Yeah.
To answer your question, apparently it can be appealed.
Because everything is the end of the world now. Every fucking thing that happens is the end of the world. And
you're saying
the problem I'm seeing with this is that the appeal is going to take time.
That's why I say it's inconsequential. The election matters most.
Right.
As far as all this stuff goes. One says if Trump wins, it doesn't matter if she dismissed that or not. If Trump doesn't win, it doesn't matter if she dismissed it or not. It will be refiled, and she will be kind of.
It looks like it was dismissed because Smith's appointment was considered unlawful.
The problem is that the people who are voting, okay, regardless of the fact that the people may have already made up their minds, there's still like 4 or 5% of the population that have not made up their minds or at least if they have their minds now, are at least persuadable to vote differently. The evidence in that case, which is overwhelming against Trump, that was a slam dunk case. People will not get to hear all the evidence. Okay, even the stuff that I've seen from the documents, there's stuff they're holding back, and I've seen a lot of shit that they've got in the indictments, but there's still stuff they're holding back. People won't get to see that. Most people won't get to see that on trial. They won't get to see it, and so they won't have all the information. It's just, and the fact
Falmouth must have his electric back after a storm that hit like a week ago now. Anyway, the thing is, because I'm trying to move on from this fucking Saturday night massacre.
Don't worry, the news cycle it'll be gone soon enough.
No,
I mean it's going to be this week because the RNC is, but as it wears on, I think most people are sick of it. I mean, yeah, his base is excited, but it's like anything. We just got to wait till the next tragedy happens, and everyone will move on.
The next tragedy has happened, and nobody's going to talk about it because Eileen Cannon is going to be overshadowed by this whole Trump thing.
Falmouth says he's north of the chaos. Here's the chaos in Texas, in case you don't know. People have been without power because of a hurricane, tropical storm. I don't know.
A progressive hurricane, a liberal hurricane, a woke hurricane.
Goddamn liberal hurricanes. Go back to wherever you came from.
A liberal woke.
You know what? I'm sick of it.
The border.
I can't take it. These goddamn immigrants come here. They take the hurricane jobs. What are these fucking tornadoes supposed to do this summer? Fuck you. I'm sorry.
Keep in mind, Greg Abbott has been governor for 10 years, and this has happened repeatedly. Texas keeps having power grid outages. They're obviously their infrastructure is pretty weak, but they want to blame the federal government every time something goes wrong. And in the same breath, they want to secede and be their own country.
Yeah,
and as far as the electric grid goes, they have succeeded because their electric grid I think it's they have exceptions that they don't have to upgrade their power grid according to federal standards. They have exceptions, so they can just do what the fuck they want. They don't have to upgrade their grid.
And Greg Abbott never stands up for Texas. I don't understand what his problem is.
I think it's the
now Ron has been lifting Liam, and it's not the real Liam Neeson, but fake Liam Neeson has used that joke repeatedly on Twitter. So,
well, I mean, it's an easy one. So
yeah, no, but GD has laid claim to all the low hanging fruit. There's none left for you. I'm sorry.
You know, this is always the thing. This is always the thing with Texas. They do this. They have had ample time to upgrade their power grid because a couple years ago, when that ice storm came through, it shut down the state because they didn't have electric and shit like that. And they claim to love America, yet they're one of the states that has banned Pornhub and things. So Texas, do better. I thought everything's supposed to be bigger in Texas, except electricity, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, except for
for basic human needs.
The excuses are bigger in Texas.
No, we discussed David Ginn, the dumpling salesman, Dr. Dumpling salesman, who got food poisoning, who ate a bad dumpling.
Yeah, one of his own. Never eat your own supply.
Prince George, who was expected here 18 minutes ago, booked a show 3 weeks ago, then canceled that and made it for last week, then canceled that and made it for today, and then last night confirmed that he would be here today.
Son of a bitch.
This is a podcaster, a guy who he's on 2 podcasts. He's going to star in a film, comic book director, but he can't claim time zone issues. I don't know what his excuse will be. I'm really not interested. 3 times, 3 different reschedules, and then confirmation the night before, and then doesn't show up the day of the show.
You need to charge him. You need to charge him a booking fee.
I don't want to do that.
I know.
I don't
Invite
want
him to the roof.
I don't want to be like that Dick Savage. I'm not charging people, but I'm not done giving people second chances, man. This is fucking, it's crazy. Can we reschedule? Yeah, like I got nothing better to do than sit around and wait for you when it's
Maybe you
convenient.
should implement a temporary ban situation. Like if you don't show up or if you cancel last minute, there's a 6-month waiting time until you can reapply to be on the show.
What is snow power? You didn't get snow in July in Texas.
No, he's talking about the other power outage they had when the snow knocked out.
Ice storm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, charge a $5 booking fee, but promise to refund it if they show up. That is an option. Listen, it's a lot to make people go. The serious people, the good people, to go through a PayPal thing or a Venmo thing or whatever they have to do to fucking pay.
Okay, they don't implement the fee until the second time they've screwed up. After this, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that is an option. Like I said, the ban thing, that's what the open mic does. If you don't show up for open mic and you don't call ahead of time more than 24 hours, you have a 2-month ban until you're able to re-sign up.
Oh, yeah. I have accepted it as kind of the avocational hazard of having to deal with these fucking people, but it is what it is. But here's another thing. The Twitter thing, of course, I mentioned this earlier in the show. We're not allowed to stream to Twitter anymore unless I pay to have the privilege to stream there, and then he gets to put advertising on, so he makes more money off the live stream over there. Now, what I was considering, and just to get some feedback on this, paying it for a period of time and using the entire program just to ridicule and make fun of Musk, the entire. Now that would be a waste of program, but it would be during the show. I'm just saying, after the show goes off, live stream for the next 22 hours. Just pictures of Elon Musk with and his tweets, his ridiculous tweets and stupid things that he had said, and just make fun of him and just leave that on a loop. So he has to stream it to his own.
Just let it play when we're not on the air. Just let the loop play. I think I'm down, but here's the problem: is he has autism, and I think people are gonna be like, "Look, you're making fun of a guy with autism."
Probably not.
I don't know.
Yeah, but he's a capitalist whore also, so he likes
That is
money.
true.
So the whore in him can't deny the money.
Well,
but then,
also I have Asperger's, so we can just say I'm doing it, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, so it's a question of whether or not his soft ego would allow. But I think the whore aspect, the money whore aspect, definitely trumps him just being.
Stephen, if I may, who diagnosed you with Asperger's?
My psychiatrist.
When?
2 years ago.
Now, do these Aspergers come with cheese?
What was
sometimes? Yes.
What was the criteria for that?
It's a very mild case. They've reclassified it as autistic spectrum disorder with no cognitive or speech impediment. So I don't know. I don't really agree with the diagnosis myself, and my therapist doesn't either. But
here's the thing: 10 years ago, it came into fashion to diagnose everybody they meet with Asperger's. Everybody who walks into a therapist or a psychiatrist's office automatically gets a free Asperger's card.
Yeah, my therapist, who I talk to every week, doesn't agree. I don't agree.
I don't think it's a thing. I don't.
I told her I was just fucked up in general. I was like, I'm a comedian. Like I just have a fucked up view of the world. I make jokes about inappropriate shit. I don't think it's Asperger's. I think I'm just weird.
12 years ago, my people it started with my wife, who tried to put that label on me, and then I started looking up this stuff, and I was like, half of those fucking things you could apply to anybody in any kind of situation, and then you look deeper into it, and it's a fucking trendy fad diagnosis that just came into existence, and then people were wearing it like it was a badge of honor or something.
Yeah, no, I don't. Like I said, they don't even call it Asperger's anymore. They gave it a whole new name. which was like I told you, it's the ASD with no cognitive or speech impediments, and I'm just like, it just sounds like you're just labeling people that are weird with a diagnosis. Like, it didn't make sense to me either. So I was just like, okay,
on the spectrum. I'm actually on Optimum. I'm not on Spectrum.
You know, good on
I'm on Xfinity personally, but
you know, good on us for bringing the show full circle. I mean, we're currently talking about Asperger's, and we started out talking about ass dogs. So it's been a great day.
Yeah, you know, life is a circle.
No,
and remember, if you're going to have an Asperger's barbecue, please ask for cheeseburgers and hot dogs. And if we're lucky, we'll have some Asperger chips.
The doctors are not warning people about sticking frozen hamburgers up their ass.
Not yet. Because
not until they watch the show and people are like, wow, that sounds refreshing. I should try it. Then there's going to be an influx of emergency room visits, and it's all going to be blamed on us.
I mean, obviously, an ass dog is different from Asperger's because, I mean, with Asperger's, you're going to have to wipe that burger on the outside of your asshole to get, get those little clingy chunks.
Ass dogs, on the other hand,
get on Alpo. It's not a speck of cereal.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah. Nothing's too good for my dog. Now, the idea that understanding that an ass, if I can kind of explain this to people on terms they can understand, an ass is a bucket that gets emptied once a day. Whatever you put in it, it's going to come out. Even if you put it in this way, it's going to. So it's all
why
temporary.
Are people going to the doctors then? Why don't they just wait?
Right, exactly. And why do you need a doctor's advice? Well, anybody who needs a doctor's advice about, hey doc, you think it's okay to shove this fucking frozen hot dog up my ass? If you're going to the doctor with that,
it could be part of their kink that they might.
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure the last thing I've heard mentioned from doctors was they just advise not putting food inside of you outside of your mouth in general.
No.
Because there's a story that's a real popular one about a lady who used carrots to pleasure herself, and then she punctured like an artery or something and caused an air bubble and killed her. So like doctors advise just don't put food in your body at all outside of just in your mouth.
Yeah,
okay, so my question is, there was a trend of people putting gerbils in their behind. Were the gerbils frozen or fresh?
I don't
that's
know.
What I was just going to say. The carrot is not more dangerous than a 12-inch fucking plastic dildo.
No, the carrot is more dangerous because
it's sharp on the end.
Yeah, what Steven is what he's referring to is that story. What happened was she used a carrot, and the carrots put a hole in her vaginal wall, and at that point, that's when like internal bleeding started, and that's what killed her.
Yeah.
But a dildo could also put the same hole.
A dildo can, if you're not careful, it can.
Yeah, if you're not careful, but it's still not sharp like a carrot, though.
A carrot comes to a point. In comparison to the end of a dick, yes, a carrot is sharp, 100%.
Here, let me show you right now. So,
Draw has been sharpening his penis.
If you would have whip out your carrot. I was like, if you had a carrot in your pants this whole time, I would have given you so much props as a comedian. I was like, this dude planned this for hours.
I used to walk around with a banana in my pocket just in case somebody asked.
Look how round
banana in your pocket, or you just glad to see me? I would
say I'm shocked, but that's like peak dad joke level. And at your age, I imagine you've been there for years, so that makes sense.
A carrot is not sharp; it is pointed. And the end of it is pointed, but that doesn't mean
but
the wall is to the side. It's not sharp.
I bet if you froze a carrot, you could stab somebody with it.
Well, that's pretty good.
It's gone. I can't. No one can see it.
Yeah, it's very good.
So, Ron, you just poked a hole in the side of the screen.
No,
that compared to the end of a penis is basically
let's
sharp.
Be clear. They have the dildos are not necessary. I mean, GD, show them a dildo.
All right, look, this is a carrot. Then I'll pull out my cock right now.
No, we'll get demonetized. It needs to be plastic and see-through.
Oh, I don't think we'll get demonetized. I think we'll get a boost.
Ooh.
They have them. They're
the Rev lost all of his dildos.
Dildos. They come in all sorts of shapes, and they sell them that are much more pointed than that carrot that Ron just
I was
showed.
trying to find the one that
Actually,
wasn't attached to something. This one's already attached. See?
all right, we don't need to see them more. I just thought you'd have one that, like from Tracy's dog, they have the ones that are like a monkey dick, almost like fucking.
That's
pointed.
downstairs. I have to leave.
Yeah.
I have to go down to
I'm not buying the carriage. I'm not buying the carriage stick.
Oh my God, Rod. No.
His long game combined with his short game. Anyway, yeah. So no, this whole idea about carrots being the thing you need to worry about.
Stop.
I ain't buying it.
Too high for this. Stop.
How prevalent is
No,
that?
let it.
How prevalent?
No. Stop. I need an adult.
Yeah. All right. If that's it. We're moving on, or we're done. Are we done? I know it's. Did I?
You gotta say goodbye to Govs, right?
You know what? The alarm didn't go off.
No, this is one of the times where Govs already left on their own.
Why did the Govs alarm not go off?
Govs is like, sorry, we're not sticking around for this.
Govs is like, we draw the line at Ron threatening Steven with a carrot. We're done. We're out of here.
We'll see ourselves.